An epic northern Ugandan trip to Biku Hill in Nebbi, a race to one of the world's smallest churches. Our journey started before 8 am and all roads were leading to Biku Hill in Nebbi, near Goli in northern Uganda. This place is home to one of the smallest churches in the world that only accommodates 3 people. I thought I should share Kampala and Murchison traffic with you, as I tend to skip this bit and fast track to the scenic places. Passing through Kawempe in Murchison district, where traders are allowed to trade by the roadside. However, this is slightly different from Kampala district itself. The journey to Nebbi by road has been reduced significantly by a shortcut through Murchison Fall National Park, which means lots of and more sporting. It is 7 hours and 30 minutes trip covering 389 kilometers, hopefully with a few decent roads. Passing through Matuga town, which is a rapidly developing residential town in Murchison district, where roadside markets are an in thing. We passed the road branching off to Nakaseke town, which has a fairly big hospital. Some of the major towns are off the highways, for instance Bombo town, which has a major military presence, that is a barracks and a military hospital. Driving towards Luwero town, this has a lot of businesses, government and religious facilities along the main road. This has been a common practice from the colonial era, where a few businesses and government facilities or buildings are built alongside the highways. After Luwero, the main town of interest was Nakasongola. We also came across a few eucalyptus and pine tree plantations, which I must admit is a side income for a few mid-income earners or whoever has surplus income. The road to Nakasongola was a straight road, which would be a biker's dream to ride on. We stopped at Total in Nakasongola for refreshments and to stretch our legs. I could not resist filming this beautiful butterfly, which ended up catching everyone's attention. The service at the station was second to none. Having a hot cappuccino and a taste of local snacks was awesome. passing through a town called Migera, we came across a police checkpoint, which are normal occurrences in Uganda. If stopped, you have to let the law enforcers get on with their jobs. At Nachitoma is the road leading to the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary, which is 7 kilometers from the main road. It is a private animal sanctuary where one can observe these endangered animals in the wild. We drove towards River Kafu, which you'll be able to see on my left. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to stop. Ahead of us is a famous place for selling the best roasted roadside cassava in the country. Some people will say in the whole world. If you ever pass by, please try it. Straight ahead would lead to Kigumba, then eventually Gulu City. And to the left is the road that leads to Masindi. This is the border between Buganda and Bunyoro, which are ancient Ugandan kingdoms. The road to Masindi was paraded with extensive farms of sugarcane and corn, locally known as maize. My guess is that this sugarcane is transported to Chinyara Sugar Factory, which is one of the largest sugar producers in Uganda. This part of the country was sparsely populated with minimal cars on the road, which gives one a distorted view of the country's population. As one approaches Masindi town, you see roadside horticulture nurseries, which is an indication of a human settlement in the vicinity. Masindi town saw the return of small motorcycles on the road and a bit of human zing and liveliness. We had to stop to get some mobile money, which is a popular and convenient way of transacting in the Pearl of Africa. To our left was Masindi Town Council, where most of the local government pen pushers would be located. I must say, Masindi Town has a few buildings which are eye-catching. And it is the portal to the biggest and oldest national park in Uganda, and this got me really excited. Our driver was mindful of the time, as he normally plies the Arua-Kampala road. As a result, his foot became heavy on the gas pedal. Arriving at one of the southern gates of Murchison Falls National Park, we had to stop and pay for our tickets, which are valid for 24 hours. There are different rates for Ugandan nationals and visitors. We could not stop ourselves from indulging in one of our passions. As a result, our wallets were lighter when we left the craft shop. As soon as we're reunited with our car, we saw a black and white colobus monkey which disappeared into the forest on spotting us. Welcome to Budongo Forest, which is considered to be the biggest mahogany forest found in the whole of East Africa. It is such a beautiful space covered in various shades of green. Our eyes were spoilt for choice as olive baboons were littered all over the highway through the forest. We intermittently stopped to take pictures, however we had to keep our distance in case we are suspected of having food. We were delighted by the serenity of Budongo Forest as it had this palpable calmness. The tarmac road carved its way through the forest and soon we were going through the savanna woodland part of the national park. Anyone with a keen eye will notice the transition of the landscape from the forest to the savanna woodland and then finally to the savanna grassland as you pass through the national park. Crossing River Nile was a big moment for everyone, as previously a ferry was used and this was clearly a new bridge. We were also treated to a few animals by the riverbank. I hope I can zoom in for you to appreciate the giraffes, elephants, hippos, and if lucky, even crocodiles. Our driver had a sharp eye for the animals, as he could suddenly stop the car even before you've seen anything. One could have easily missed the graceful Nubian giraffes in the park, which were nibbling away on their lunch. The same applied to the magnificent Cape buffaloes. These were wallowing in the mud, probably to keep themselves cool in the scorching heat. One cannot go through the park without seeing the Oribis antelopes, which are the smallest. There are 7 types of antelopes in the park. It was interesting seeing the various Borassus palm trees, which are a product of elephant droppings within the park. This Jackson's hartebeest was busy sheltering itself from the hot sun. It's one of the large antelopes in the park. It is highly alert and always stands out on guard. The Ugandan kob are plentiful in Murchison Fall National Park and they prey for the lions. were also lucky to come across a common Patas monkey, also known as the dancing red monkey. Approaching Tangi Gate, which is on the northern side of the park, we headed to the T-junction with a view of turning right to Ikorom Safari Lodge, where we are hoping to have our long-awaited lunch. Ikorom Safari Lodge was a delight. Even at the peak of the dry season, their compound was amazingly green. We had a few uninvited stalkers, the olive baboons. One had to keep an eye on their belongings. Not surprised, I spotted one running away with what I suspected to be stolen property. Our target was to arrive at Biku Hill before sunset, but at this rate our chances were slim. Probably settling down for lunch may not have been a brilliant idea. Our driver put his foot down, however the state of the roads in West Nile did not match our expectations. At this point in time, some of our colleagues were extremely exhausted, and the relentless dancing to the rhythm of the potholes was not refreshing. A whopping 35,000 steps had been recorded on a Fitbit. Off-putting roads aside, driving through northern Uganda, especially the West Nile, made me fall in love with the African countryside. We were gifted with these amazing views, vast spaces of untouched beauty, and eco-friendly houses. Arriving in Nebbi district gave us a glimmer of hope that we may make it before sunset. At the roundabout, the second exit led to Arua and the first exit led to Paida, which is a small town in Zombo district. Paida is a busy border town, and it is the second busiest border crossing between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The roads were undeniably bad, and we paid heavily in terms of our expected time of arrival. We were taken by surprise as the land in Nebbi was very fertile. Banana and coffee trees were abundant in most homesteads. Corn or maize was also grown. As we drove towards our destination, we received invitations on our mobile phones to join the network connection in DRC. This was a reminder that we are close to the border of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. On arrival to Biku Hill, we made a mad rush to one of the world's smallest churches, only to be beaten by 2 buses full of tourists. We opted to spend our time exploring the hill, only to get lost. We finally got to this world iconic site at the dead of the night. I'll leave you with these splendid views of one of the world's smallest church. Till next time.